All right, good afternoon and welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Omar Stennett. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are watching from, whether here, there, over there, or somewhere around here. Really appreciate you. Also want to thank all our subscribers, all the persons who have subscribed to our channel. We want to thank you for your love and your support. Keep supporting the channel, keep liking, keep sharing, keep telling people about what we are doing. This is our JPL review show, but we're going to share with you a few more sporting details or information so you can know what has happened in the last 24, 48 hours. Uh, I don't know what is going on. So before we get into our discussion or any talking, let's just play our little intro video. So stay tuned and hear what's going on right now.
I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy, 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 boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment. Let me know what your thoughts are.
All right, there you have it. I am sure sports indeed. Remember to like, share, and leave a comment. And today we have, like I said, we have a few details to get into. We're going to discuss the JPL. Started earlier today with the first game, and the second game is close to being completed now. That game is between Cavaliers and Humble Lion, and it's in added time, and Cavaliers have a 1-goal lead. So we will give you the details when the game is finished. You would have heard as well that Shelley and Fraser Price won the 100 meters final at the national trials. Very good race. I think we will have a good pool of athletes on the female side for our relays, and the possibility exists that we could have 3 medalists in the 100 meters. There seems to be some tension between either Shelley and Elaine or the camps by the reaction to the race at the end of it. That is, Shelley won, and Sharika Jackson finished second. I mean, some people having watched the semi-final thought that Sharika would have won, but she finished second behind Shelley. And Elaine came third. Yeah, Elaine Thompson Hera came third. Brianna Williams was fourth. Natasha Morris finished, I think, sixth all the way down. And Kemba Nelson, I think, finished seventh. And so, yeah, very, very interesting times in our track and field. Dina Asha Simit also won her national trials today as well. Excellent time. I think she did 10.71. And so this 100 meters at the Olympics is going to be fire. I'm telling you. When I think about Blessing Okenbari, Telu from the Ivory Coast, those are two out of the continent of Africa. You have North Americans. You have Shakari Richardson from the United States, and you have the three Jamaicans, Elaine, Shelley, and Sharika Jackson. And then in Europe, you'll have Dina Asher Simmons. It's going to be a tough race, but I think Shelley is in superb form and she's improving. And my heart says Shelley. Yeah, I believe that she's going to win the gold. I could see big up, yeah man, big up Garel, that's Stickman. Yeah man, really appreciate you coming on. Remember, share the link, bro. Yeah. Listen, you need to join me one of these days, man. You understand me? So we can talk some sport. You know. Big up the man from UTech right there. Yeah, man from Engine. Yeah, so that's what I am sure sport is saying. I am sure sports believe that Shelley will take the 100 meters. Sharika Jackson and Elaine, I think, are going to medal. I believe it is going to be a clean sweep at the Olympics. Those are my thoughts, and so I'm looking forward to that because, like I said, Shelley has been consistently improving, and now you see Sharika Jackson improving. Having a little bit of concern about Elaine, but I think she's going to get it together at the Olympics. I just have some confidence in her. Yeah, yeah, man. I have some confidence in her that she's going to improve. Well, I'm actually going to talk about the game, Gareth. But I'm going to give my player ratings. But soon get into that. Just give us a couple of minutes to share some other things. Right now, Cavaliers, they are up by 2 in the 4th minute of added time. And so Cavaliers look set to win this game with a clean sheet. I think I had predicted that they would have won the game by 2-1. They're up by 2, and I did predict that Mount Pleasant would have won their game, but it ended in a tie. So I am sure Sport got one result right and the other one split decision. So don't beat me too hard. All right. Yeah, on the men's side of the 100 meters at the trial, nothing to write home about. Nobody broke 10 seconds. So none of these guys running these times will even make the finals of the 100 meter. If they are not like 9, 9, 9, 7 in that region, they have no hope of making the finals. I know Ewan Blake barely went below 10 in his semifinal. Maybe he had a bad start. I don't know. He seemed to be stumbling at the start of his race. I hope he can improve that as we get nearer to the Olympics. But that's what is there to write at home. Nothing major yet. Looking forward to the 400 meters and the 200 meters. Also, want you to know that the West Indies defeated South Africa in the first T20. The second one will be played tomorrow. Excellent opening stance between Evan Lewis and Fletcher. Put on lot of runs for the opening partnership. Fletcher was run out, and then Chris Gill came in. Evan Lewis made his half century. Chris Gill made 32, I believe, of 24 balls, and we won the game quite convincingly. South Africa made 160, West Indies won, making 162. But listen, this is serious because I believe our T20 team can beat our test team in T20 and in test and also in one day. So I don't know, man, but something is seriously off with our test team, and they need to sort themselves out, right? Yeah, and Milwaukee Bucks blew out completely the Atlanta Hawks to tie that series 1-1. They play again on Sunday, Game 3 in Atlanta. So looking forward to that. Going to be a next good game to see how Trey Young is going to rebound. But Milwaukee, really good game. I mean, they were making their 3 pointers, and if they are doing that, it's going to be hard for this Atlanta Hawks to stop them because they're too reliant, I believe, on Trey Young. All right. So that's some NBA basketball for you. You got some cricket, and you also got some information, yeah, and some track and field as well. Yeah, man. And so let's dive into some football. So the JPL started today. Yeah, the JPL started today. Mount Pleasant in their first game. The Mount Pleasant in their first game ended 0-0 against Tivoli Gardens. Now, because I'm in St. and I'm going to do a player rating for the Mount Pleasant team. The goalkeeper didn't make any save at all except for a free kick that Jermaine Johnson at 41 years old for the time he was on the field, looked like the best midfielder of all the midfielders out there. A 41-year-old. And we have players trying to get into the national team, and we have a 41-year-old who was retired from international football, dominating, or they have to foul him to get the ball from him in the midfield, right? But Swaby was in goal, one of the goalkeepers they had in their ranks last year. A standard 5 out of 10. I think he never had anything to do. His distribution was very good. But he never had anything to do because Mount Pleasant, as you know, they're a very good defensive unit. Ladell Richie, I think he was a little bit rash. I mean, always rushing in. That's one of the problems with him. These guys know that they can't play this way at the international level. Why they do it in the Premier League, I don't know. So I'll give him he made always a very good passer out of the back. He made some very good diagonal passes down the channels. And so I'm going to give him a 6 because he led the defensive line. They never conceded a goal. And it is the first game, so I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. The other defender, Liston James, had to come off. I think he had some muscle cramp. I'm going to give him 5 out of 10. Wasn't really impressed with him. Didn't do much. Didn't affect the game in any way because they were not under any pressure from Tivoli. I'm going to give Suley McCullough, who is the left back, a 7. I think McCullough really played well. He excellent header in the first half that the keeper saved. Excellent shot as well from around 25 yards out that the goalkeeper never collected properly, and I think Benbow should have scored. He didn't. So I give Suley McCullough a 7. Tell me what your ratings are. So I give the goalkeeper 5. Never did too much. Ladell Richie gets 6. Liston James I gave a 5, standard 5. Suley McCullough I give a 7. The as you said, he knows better because exactly, Miguel, man, poor. Suley missed the opportunity. I think it was an excellent header. I wouldn't say that he missed it. He leapt well. The keeper made a brilliant save. So I have to give it to the keeper. And then he got a next ball that came in, and I think he was running into the box and he missed it. So I don't beat him too hard because he had more shots on goal than all the forwards and the midfielders, and he's playing left back. On the right-hand side of their defense, I think this player, Latrell Lang, had a terrible game. I mean, I don't think this guy is a wing back. He should not play there. You can see that he's a midfielder because he's always playing diagonal passes, and he bypasses midfield almost every single time. And this has been an ongoing problem with the Mount Pleasant team. So I'm going to give him a 4 because he gave away possession too much. That's the only side of the field that Tivoli, they were attacking down his side of the field because he's always caught out of position. You'd think that after a few seasons and that he would learn the position, but I think he's a midfielder and they're trying to convert him into something that he's not. And so, he had a poor game, a poor game. I counted 7 times that he gave up position and 6 times when he was out of position. I've never had one one telling cross or one telling pass at any stage of the game, right? So that's what I give him. In the midfield, you had Rankin. Rankin, I think, had a very good game. I think he's the best of the midfielders that played, and so I will give him a 7 as well. Same as Sulay McCullough. He played well, won most of his duels, made most of the passes, always went back to fetch the ball. Played well, lasted the whole game as well, though he got a yellow card, but was very instrumental in holding things together in the midfield. Alwyn Harvey, I think, never played well, gave the ball away, seemed a bit slow throughout the game. Yeah, let me just read this comment. Excellent point about Dodo. Or that had the same remark. He trusts to make the passes that the midfield should be making. There you go. He's always trying to play the ball from the right back all the way to the center forward. He's trying to square the ball from the if you know football, the 3/3. He's squaring the ball from the middle third. Most times he doesn't go down to the corner flag and square. He's squaring from the middle third. I don't understand the philosophy or the system that they were playing, because when they had Benbow and the other centre forward was Beckford, they were playing all of these aerial balls when Barrington Price at Tivoli is a very tall defender and Penny Cook is a tall defender. I think they weren't keeping the ball on the ground. You had lateral length, long ball, Ladell Richie, long ball, all of these aerial balls. I felt like they should have been playing the ball on the surface through the channels, but they are the professionals, they are the coaches. So I think he had a bad game. I think Alwyn Harvey had a bad game. He won some tackles, but he just looked slow. He looked slow throughout the game, gave away the ball too much, also tried to make some passes, held on to the ball a little bit too long. They weren't quick in passing at the ball, so I'm giving him the standard 5. I am very disappointed in Kevin Isaacs because he's part of the national setup. This man played like he's on a stroll. I don't know if he's trying to be Mr. Cool. Tivoli should have scored that header that they got in the first half, and it was because Kevin Isaacs was walking, and the player on the outside right just ran right past him and hit the ball, and he stood up and never did anything. You cannot play at the international level, represent the country, and play that kind of a way throughout the game. So because he's a national player, I'm going to grade him hard. I'm giving him a 4. I was not impressed with him. He had a couple of good passes that I could say, well, but he made some good passes and better opportunities. Maybe a goal could have been scored from them, but my expectation of you is way higher than the other players. And so I grade you a whole lot harder. All right, so you have to improve a whole lot. Let's come to the front three that started the game. Of the front three, I think Benbow played the best. All right, these guys need to understand that this is a synthetic turf. It's not as easy to dribble. You have to let the ball do the work. Benbow played well. I give him 6. I give Bushy a 5, and I give Daniel Green a 4. He was not impressive. Daniel Green, 4, Bushy 5, and Benbow I give a 6. And so if you ask me who was the man of the match, I would say the Tivoli goalkeeper, but who was the best player for Mount Pleasant, I would give that to Sulay McCullough or Rankin. At no point did Tivoli attack down Sulay McCullough's side of the field, right? So I would give that give it to him. But Mount Pleasant needs to change the way they play. You can't be using these short center forwards playing against strong, tall center backs who are good aerially and playing all of these aerial passes. It just don't make sense to me. All right. I see Miguel saying also we didn't see the best of Bushy. A lot of times he played some excellent passes. The only problem is that he should have been on the receiving end of some of the passes he made. Well, he wasn't making the runs correctly as well, because he was offside at least on 3 occasions, because the midfielders were holding on to the ball too long, and he was making it. He was making the runs too early. So he had to take some of the blame for that. Right? But it is the first game of the season. Can't judge them too harshly. They have been out of competition for over a year now. So, we can give and take. And I think that they need to play more games on the surface. Obviously, the surface was a problem. You can see it is almost like their footwear, their cleats were stuck in the ground. You understand me? The ball wasn't sliding. It almost felt like a little bit of rain on the surface would have helped with the quality of the game. But I think the surface affected the play because I think they struggled on it. I don't know what kind of footwear they had on, but I expect that they're going to improve. Listen, I think the coach that they brought on, Swaby, I thought that was a good change. I think Swaby should have come on earlier and did the right thing. Clear down the center, remove Green, and put Bushy on the side where Benbow was and put Benbow on the side that Green was. That should have been a change. Then they took off Kevin Isaac. Very good change. I think he needed to. Ronaldo Rodney came on, had some energy, played well. And then they brought on one of their academy players, Benbow. Very good youngster, and he played well. They had also made an early change because Liston James was injured, so they brought on Kevin Graham, who played well. Standard 5 for all the substitute. And so that is the player rating for Mount Pleasant. I can't rate the Tivoli players, really, because I don't know them that well. I have not watched them, but they have a new team, and for a team that said they were unprepared, underprepared, they did well. They managed the game well. When they were being pressed, the goalkeeper would go down, pretend to be injured, in my estimation, so that the players would be refreshed and all of that. But let me go back to the very beginning. Listen, the organizers, I don't know who is responsible for the ambulance. You cannot have a TV game, and the first game of the season, the game was delayed. The start of the game was delayed by 15 minutes because the ambulance was not there. Now, somebody needs to come out and explain, how did that happen? This is TV time. TV time. Who was responsible for that? Yeah. Garrison from Tivoli looked okay, although I think he should have been red carded, received 2 yellow cards. But Pennycook, who is the centre back, along with the other centre back, the captain, Barrington Price, played well. Jermaine Johnson played well, and their centre forward held up the play very well. The big Aaron, whatever his name is, played very well. I mean, was a handful for the Mount Pleasant defender because of his hold-up play. But let's get back to this. The organizers need to ensure that this don't happen again. You cannot have your first game of the season trying to make an impression and the ambulance turns up late. It makes no sense to me. That must be fixed. It must be dealt with. Yeah, Price played well. Listen, what are your player ratings? I mean, do you agree with me? You hear my player ratings? Yeah, man, put in your player ratings. Do you disagree with any other ratings I gave to the players? I think Price, I think the entire defense line of Tivoli, Fleming also played well. I think Tivoli managed the game. They didn't come into this game wanting to win. I think they came into the game just looking to get a point and to measure where they were. And I think the Mount Pleasant coach, I'd give him a 6. I think given their kind of preparation, I expected more. Maybe I'm expecting too much, but all the teams that I've seen so far, the 4 teams, they have made wholesale changes. Mount Pleasant basically is the same group of players that started the game. I think only one new player was there, and it is a young academy player who came on and did well. But I can't, it's the same crop of players, and I'm hoping that the management and the coaching staff, they saw something that says they can continue with this particular group of players, and this particular group of players can bring them to the CONCACAF Championship, which is where their headspace is at and their goal is at. Listen, Cavaliers, they won their game. Game is over. They defeated Lion by 2-0. Listen, this Cavaliers team is They are young, but they are a good unit. They are well prepared. You must understand the dynamics of physical preparedness and conditioning is that younger people can get fitter faster and stay fitter longer. The Humble Lion team, um, the Humble Lion team is a little problem because of the age. And like I said, the Cavaliers team, you can see, because when you're younger, you get fitter faster and you stay fitter longer. Your physical conditioning is better, and they did that. That is what they used to dominate Humble Lion, and I think they play better on this surface than Humble Lion or Mount Pleasant or Tivoli. But for the life of me, 41-year-old Jermaine Johnson should not be dominating a midfield with players who want to play. People are saying that Rankin should be in the Jamaica setup, and Kevin Isaac is in it. How can Jermaine Johnson at 41 be dominating them? Somebody need to explain that to me. Jermaine Johnson is 41 years old. The man have the man's belly. I know he has experience and all of that, but it shouldn't happen. And this is why when people say some of the local players, they're not showing the quality. Like if I were Coach Whitmore from the Mount Pleasant game, I don't see anybody that deserves an opportunity to be a part of the setup. Yeah. One Love Ryan LFC. Listen, you need to check out his channel, you know. Have some good stuff over there. Near Sovereign. Bless up, man. The games are didn't get to watch it. Right. The games weren't, well, they're streamed on the Sports Max app. So if you have the Sports Max app, I figure that there's a charge for that. So we watch it here in Jamaica on Sports Max because they carry the game. But if you have the Sports Max app, I think it's under $5 for it. You could check that out. I think you could get to watch the games there. But glad to see that the Premier League starting. But one of the things I want the organizers to do, you cannot have the starting of our Premier League, and at the beginning of our league, the ambulance turns up late. I've never seen a game delayed in England, in Europe or in North America because ambulance is not there. At the beginning of the season, how could that have been? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man. So, listen, check out Ryan. Yeah, man. I'm saying Johnson, 41 years old. I mean, you know that he had an incident where he was injured, so he wasn't even training. This same Tivoli team played against Phoenix Academy. Watch the game, it's on YouTube. And the quality of Phoenix, the youngsters, the quality of the Phoenix play was better than these two teams today. And they were playing on a worse surface. But here's the truth is, I think our national team needs to spend some time training on this surface, because I think these are the kind of surfaces, and my friends in Canada can tell me that these are the kind of surfaces that are in Canada. So when you go and play Canada, we may end up playing on one of these kind of surfaces. And the games are also on CVM as well, so you can also watch the games on CVM. So that's it. I mean, I would give the man of the match for the first game to the goalkeeper for Tivoli Gardens. I think he made 2 excellent saves, but too many players with bellies. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to be like disrespectful to the players because they have been out of season. But come on, man, we can't come to the National Premier League and have ambitions to make the national team. And the man, them belly hanging over them shorts, man. That's not right, man. We must do better. We have to do better. We have to do better, ballers. You're a professional. You're professionals. And I'll say this again. I mean, if you're a professional footballer, what is the sense? What is the sense of changing the tone of your skin? I don't even want to call it bleaching because I don't know it is bleach, you're bleaching it. But what is the sense of changing the tone of your skin to go back out in the sun? You're a professional, and so your image also matters, right? I can't say, I mean, when I look at let's look at the leagues that I watch, and I mean, players have a lot of tattoos and all of that, but image, a lot of you emulate a Cristiano Ronaldo. Look at his image. He's marketable. It's not just his football playing, but the man is marketable. Neymar, marketable. Messi, marketable. Hazard, marketable. Raheem Sterling, marketable. You have to be marketable. And that has to do with how you carry yourself. Plait up your hair. Twist it. But line up and, you understand me, this is the start of the season. Get back your color. Get back your color. Your right color tone. We're in Jamaica, brother. So you're going to come back outside. You're going to come back outdoors. And a few years ago, I remember that there was a footballer who was doing very well in the league out in Portmore. And he was called to the national team. And the coach at the time, Coach Whitmore, had some challenges with the fact that he was bleaching, and a statement was made, or the statement was ascribed to Coach Whitmore about players not being allowed to represent the national team because of their bleaching. No, I wouldn't go that far because that could be discrimination, because a man is free to do what he wants to do with his skin and his body. But I can understand that, because if you're bleaching like that, how are you going to train in the boiling sun in Jamaica? So players, you have to take some responsibility for your marketability as a player. You have to see yourself as a professional who want to be a brand ambassador for one of these sponsors in the league. Therefore, you understand me? You have to carry yourself in a particular way. That's one way of earning from the sport. But yeah, man, if you can, near sovereign, watch the league. Watch the league. Cavaliers again. Cavaliers have 2 players in their team that are over the age of 27. Everybody else, 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 15-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old. And playing against, I mean, a mature, humble Lion team. And we want to see that. And it does say that there's a pathway for youngsters. There's a pathway for youngsters in Jamaica. Not all the teams do that, but at least we have some teams who are willing to invest in building up some young players. But it was the first game was unimpressive. Unimpressive. And remember now, these games are being showed right across the Caribbean. This is the thing, you know. These games are being showed right across the Caribbean. Well, let me say worldwide, but in terms of Sportsmax, everywhere in the Caribbean where Sportsmax is, people can watch them. And then you have people all over. We have a World Cup champion coming up. I'm wondering how many of these players, people are going to say, well, you're judging them harshly. It is the first game. Why would you be so hard on the players if it is the first game? That's true. It is the first game, but we will see. But based on what I saw today, I'm not impressed. That's all I'm saying. Mount Pleasant, for example, they have brought in Wally Downs from out of England. I didn't see anything different with this Mount are better with this Mount Pleasant team than the last time they were playing in the league? Nothing. I need to see his impact. And I hope it's not a case where because someone from a different country is available, we brought them in, but they're not having a real impact in terms of how the football is played or how the players are being prepared. I want to know that if you are here, you're having an impact. I can see that. I saw nothing today to indicate that he's doing good work with the players at Mount Pleasant. I saw nothing. And so tomorrow, there will be one game. They call it the St. Catherine Derby. It will be Portmore United, coached by Ricardo Gardner. That is going to be an interesting one. Listen, I want somebody to tell me, what are your thoughts of Ricardo Gardner as a coach? You know, he was at Harborview and then he left Harborview, went to Portmore. What are your thoughts? How do you rate Ricardo Gardner as a coach? I mean, have you seen enough of him to determine if he's good enough to be even part of the youth coaching setup in Jamaica? I would love to hear that. Mount Pleasant had the best preseason preparation. I also don't expect better from them based on I also don't or did expect better from them based on all the resources pumped into the team. Must be that what you're saying. You expected better from them based on all the resources. Yeah, because these guys were paid their salary right throughout the pandemic, you know. So they can't complain that it's money. They can't complain that it is the surface. And they can't complain that it is the condition. So I don't know. But Ricardo Gardner, too much is given, much is expected. There you go. There you go. Right? So Ricardo Gardner, I think he's one of those coaches in Jamaica that like, you know, let me say it this way. Part of the cultural shift in our football begins right here. I think a Ricardo Gardner, say a Miguel Coley, I think Shavar, who is now overseas, should not have been. I think these pool of coaches should have been called elite young coaches, and the JFF in off seasons should have them do seminars to learn and develop. And when they get plugged into the system, in other words, when we're ready for national coaches, we have a pool to pull from. Excuse me, because we're investing in their development. Ricardo Gardner, because he has been a part of the national team. Same thing with Shavar Thomas, who did a very good job when he was at Portmore. An ex-good young coach. Miguel Coley, because of the work he did, and there are others. But I think there should be a pool of around 10 coaches that the technical committee of the JFF invest some resources in, where they can learn and grow in terms of their coaching documents and ability, right? Send them on courses, send them to Germany, send them to England, send them to Spain, let them learn the game, send them to Holland, let them learn the game, send them to Belgium, let them learn the game. And you will have now a pool of say 10 or 12 coaches that you can use at your under 15, your grassroots level. And all of them are learning a particular system. So when they all get plugged into the national system, it's one style of play that you're teaching the players. So I think he's a coach that can be groomed. So I'm looking forward to see how his Portmore team will play. I know Dumby Holden has been, they have been recruiting, but a lot of these teams, Tivoli lost some players because they, you know how it is once no football is being played. A lot of the players, they don't have contracts that go beyond the season. And so a lot of them end up finding jobs either here or overseas. And so now some of the teams are missing players. And I know that Dumby Holden have lost some players who went to work in a foreign to feed their families, and you can't blame them. They also lost Tremaine Stewart earlier this year. May his soul rest in peace. And so those are my views on the games today. We should have had Everton Tomlinson on today, and from the Westmoreland FA. He wants to do it later, but you know, we are going to do it a next day when we can have a fulsome discussion with him, so we can hear what is happening. And for the month of July, we are going to ensure that we talk to all the presidents of all the parishes to find out from them what is their vision for Jamaica's football and for the parishes. So if you're in Hanover, you need to hear from your parish president. What is his plan? What are the plans going forward? What are when is the leagues, or when are the leagues? We forget that there's a whole set of football, you know, Major League, Super League, that is still on pause. But I have a big thing for you. What do you think about schoolboy football? Yeah, should there be schoolboy football? And if so, how should it be played? Can we have schoolboy football and have all of these teams playing again? Or should we change how we do schoolboy football and play by parish and then pick the 14 parish champions? Should it be that? So I have an idea, you know. Tell me what you think. To kind of limit travel and all of that, just have all the teams, all the schools that would participate in Westmoreland, they all play at one venue, all that kind of a thing, and they just play. And then you pick out the 14 parish champions. You could go 16, and then the 2 other best teams, and then you play. Yeah, you play from 16, around the 16. What are your thoughts on that? But will there be any schoolboy football this year? Because this would be now the second season without any. And I just spoke to a footballer who was at a particular high school, and what happened to him is he would have played last season. So he was transferred to the school and played one season. He would have played last season, and that never happened. And so now he's out of school and he's not playing any football, not involving in the club because he was playing for a Super League club. What is going to happen to him? What about those players who are 15? If they didn't play at 16 and now they're not going to play at 17. Yeah. What are your thoughts? What should happen to schoolboy football? What kind of format? You need to help me. You need to talk to Mr. Wellington. Need to get him on the program to come and talk to me about, you know, what's happening with schoolboy football. Yeah? He's a very good administrator, and he and his team work together to pull off champs. So I believe that I trust Issa. I am confident in Mr. Wellington's ability to convince the stakeholders to play schoolboy football. I think he's a genius in terms of his administrative skills and ability here and the entire Issa team. If there's one body I can trust to get something started and going, it's Issa. Yeah, in Issa, I trust. So I'm looking forward to the possibility of schoolboy football this season. Yeah. So next week we'll have, like I said, Everton Tomlinson. He will be here, and we're gonna have one more parish president in the week, and we're gonna work hard to see if we can get Mr. Keith Wellington. Don't know yet, but we're gonna work hard. So let me hear this. The revised JPL can be seen as a test run for schoolboy football. I'm guessing COVID is a serious concern, and this issue might be determinative. That's true. I think, yeah, that's a very valid point, and I think they have to change the format. I think that is what is going to happen. But what I saw them do to get all of those meets before champs and champs, I think ISO, and maybe because they are principals, because ISA is really all the principals are a part of ISA. I think the knowledge base there is strong enough and good enough to to present something that would bear all of these things in mind. I also believe more people are willing to put greater resources into ISA because they have proven to be so accountable and transparent. So they would be able to generate enough funds to the testing like they did for champs or whatever situation. So I think there there will be schoolboy football. How many schools are going to participate is probably a different issue. So if I were in charge of a school, I would find a way of starting to look at players because I don't see ISO allowing 2 full years or 2 full seasons to go by without playing any schoolboy football. They didn't allow it with champs, and I don't think they're going to allow it with football. But can this format be used? Yeah, central venues. What central venues they could use though? Because remember, in the JPL they are only using, I think, Stadium East, the National Stadium, and the Captain Horace Center. They originally had Sabina Park, but because of the Test series, they are not going to use it. Will there be? Because they can't play the games on the school grounds because then you'd have all the kids wanting to watch. So this is where I think they have to find central venues to play the game outside of the schools. So is there a venue in like the parish of Westmoreland that is secure enough that they can play it without spectators? Do they have that in Hanover? Do they have that in Trelawney? Do they have that in, you understand me, in Manchester, in Clarendon? I think that will be the most challenging part. What venues do we have that are secure enough where we can play the games without spectators attending, and it is secure enough that we can secure it? Because the thing is that you can secure the stadium and up by the Captain Horace Center, but some of the venues, though they may be independent in terms of not connected to school, it may be very difficult to secure them or to prevent people from there because the venue themselves are not secured venue. So that is probably going to be the challenge. They may have to, like I said, reduce the amount of teams that participate in it, which may cause some problems but either way you do it, ISA is going to find a way to do this. I again, knowing ISA, I cannot see 2 seasons of schoolboy football not being played. Yeah. And then the test run is that if the JPL goes well, I think it opened the door for all other form of football to possibly be given the green light to go. And not only that, I think if the Gold Cup, this is why the Jamaica national team need to understand this. If the Gold Cup campaign goes well, I think it will have a ripple effect in terms of what happened with football here. I'm telling you, I think if we win the Gold Cup, it could alter the government's position. And more people, I think, would want to be engaged. And imagine if ISA were to start, say, in October, and we win the Gold Cup, and we start out the World Cup campaign in September with some victories. That momentum, I think, would create the kind of wave that could cause them to put some football in place. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, Neo Sovereign, man, listen, one of these days, I need you to come and share your perspective on some football. I need you to come and share because brilliant, man. Met him recently. People need to hear this gentleman speak about football and just sport, just from a system perspective. I always tell people that systems work. I always read a lot of Nelson Searcy, and Nelson Searcy talks about the 8 systems that organizations use. And I think part of our whole football culture is that we have people who love the sport, but we have poor systems. And if we can fix the systems, we can fix football for the good. And if the system remains, it don't matter who goes in position. But the system need to fix. When I talk about system, I'm talking about from the administrative system to the on the field systems. The whole system needs to change. And if the system don't change, no matter who goes in with the same system, we go. It's just like if you go to the car manufacturer, no matter who you put in the system, the car comes out looking the same way. If you want to change a car, you don't change the people, you change the system. If you want to change the output, you have to change the mechanism. You have to change the system. Because if you put in new people with the same system, you get the same output. So we want to change the system so that when we put people in there, new people in there, we get a new output. And the system is what needs to be fixed. All right. So there you go. Quick review. Remember, watch the JPL tomorrow. Portmore Dumbarton. That is going to be a big game, a good game. So you are going to get to watch it. I won't be because you don't know I'll be sure. But the game is supposed to start at 11. Well, hey, them football people are not really cater for church people. What am I going with, man? Yeah. There you go. 100% agree. Football on or off the field is about systems working towards a goal. There you go. That's it. If the system, you listen, politics is a system. That is why no matter who you put in there, you get the same results. The man of highest integrity could go into the political arena in Jamaica and you wonder what happened to him. It's not that him don't have any more integrity, but the system. If the system is not fixed, it don't matter. It doesn't matter who you get and put in there. The system must be fixed. And we must challenge our leaders to fix the systems. The machinery, we want new results with the same old system. And if you always do what you have always done, you will always be who you have always been. It's not someone that needs to change. It's something that needs to change. And that thing is the system. We need a complete reform of the football system in Jamaica. I'm not talking about style of play. Administratively, at the governance level, at the sporting level, at the financial level, there needs to be systematic changes. At the mental level, in other words, the thinking level. I think certain positions in a nation, whether public or private, there must be a certain level of qualification or proven intellectual capacity and ability before you can be appointed. Right across. Yeah. Your ability to be able to manage, lead, all of those things must be checked before you're given certain portfolios. And so we are up on the hour mark. So people, one of these days you're going to meet Neo Sovereign. We don't know when yet, but we go contact each other and work it out and let you Let him give him a whole program to just talk about that. That system reform. There's some great minds out there. There are some great minds out there. People who have the right ideas, but the right ideas in the wrong system produce the same output that has always been produced. So our role is to fix the system. Yeah, so, well, let me just close by giving you, if you did not watch the Euros today, Italy defeated Austria by 4-1, and Wales were knocked out by Denmark. I'm very happy for Denmark after what happened to Christian Eriksen. I'm glad that they have advanced to the quarterfinals. Italy conceded their first goal. Listen, I'm telling you, this VAR thing, hey, this VAR thing and this offside rule, may I tell you, because, boy, Arun Natovic, I think his name is, that player who used to play for West Ham, then went over into China, scored, but the goal was taken back because of half-side. Listen, this half-side thing it bothers me, because this marginal, I know people are going saying half-side is half-side, but this marginal, like, if you're not able to see, like, if you're going to check how the point of my knee or my toe is over the line, you must also go back at the same time and see at what point the ball was not, when the ball left the passer's foot. So you have to keep both things so I can see, because maybe when my toe was in an outside position, the ball was already passed. That's the problem I have with VAR, and that's why I call it very atrocious refereeing. If you cannot have both images to match up to see at what point did my toe get into a half-side position, at what point did the cup of my knee get in the half-side position, at what point was the ball still on the player's foot or was it released? They never go back to show you that part. So how can they measure that it is offside on the other end? I think, except when it is blatant, some of these things must be just left and don't mess up the beautiful game. I cannot deal with VAR, because it is left up to person's interpretation. If that is the case, why don't leave it to the referee and the assistant referee interpretation? All we are doing is removing the responsibility from the officials on field to officials around a computer. And like I'm saying, unless it is a major and if it is, it's normally captured by the officials. But I don't know. I have a problem. With VAR. I like goal line technology, but I have a problem with VAR. And so somebody needs to explain to me, how do they determine that the player's kneecap or toe is in an offside position if they are not at the same time simultaneously looking at the point of release in terms of the ball? You saw that in the NBA. That game with I think it was it? Yeah, it was with Booker and Patrick Beverley, when they said that Beverley hit the ball out, but it touched Booker's hand last. Like, those things is so hard to determine, because you don't call it during the first 4 quarters, but you call it in overtime, or you call it at the end of the game. Must be consistent. But thank you everyone for your time. We're hitting the hour mark, and we're doing just an hour. Thank everyone for coming on. Thank everyone for coming on and being with me, staying with me for the hour. We'll come back tomorrow to talk about the game that will be played. Really want to highlight our local football. You understand me? We spend hours talking about Premier League and La Liga. We want to talk about our local football for the persons who are not in Jamaica, so they can hear what is happening at the local level. So big up, thank you so much. Ryan, really respect the link, bro. Stickman Miguel, Hill, Neo, respect, man. Really appreciate the connect. and thing. So enjoy the rest of your day. And if you don't have anything good to say, put a zipper on your lipper. You understand me? But find a way to encourage somebody. Somebody needs to hear a word of encouragement from you. Do the good you can. You never know, your one word, your one good deed could change your life. So every day you live is a next opportunity to make a difference in someone's life. Near Sovereign, I swear that some of my friends them know you know. Let me just say this, I have some old Marian, we need to talk about them because I feel like you and them were in school at the same time. Blessings. Sick man, UTech, big up. Manning, big up. All the other schools, big. But certain schools, I forget. Big up. You know how it is, just a little fun thing. All right. So we'll play with Outro. Have a blessed day. Stay safe.
I am sure sports. You know me there, from coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get your sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know the game play, that me not say it. If me never seen a game, me no know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here so. For the day done, you a go love over here so.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.